Hey, welcome. So good to have you with me this evening. If you joined on for the very first second of my video, hello, hello. Let me just finish getting this stuff all farted around with on my computer, getting it all set up. So, hey guys, welcome to yoga class tonight, our 8 p.m. yoga session where we get to hang out together, do our thing, do a little bit of yoga as well. Oh, look, I forgot to turn that light on again, so let me gingerly walk by my delicate camera that shakes at everything and turn this big old light on as you guys just stare at my front entryway. Excellent. Excellent. Look, I've said it 5 times already this class. I've watched back a couple of my videos and I've noticed how often I say the word excellent. Now you won't be able to help but notice it as well. Or beautiful. Those are my go-to words. But usually I like to encourage people in their yoga practice. So even if it looks all wonky, I still think that's beautiful because you're discovering something new. But anyways, that's my story. Here's my yoga mat. And I want to get on down onto it. So if you've got your yoga mat rolled out, make some space to it. Let's journey on down to the floor, getting all nice and settled in. This evening is our not yin yang. What do you know? It's only Wednesday. This evening is happy hips. So let's get ready to do some happy hips, where I think how I try to do my classes is my flow classes are definitely my most intensive, specifically the Thursday evenings. But they're all just a little bit more movement. You get that vinyasa style in it, but it's still pretty gentle. It's definitely my goal. My happy hips are the next step down from my flow classes, and so it's a little bit more stretching. We hold stuff a little bit longer, but nothing too crazy. And then my yin yang classes are the most gentle, or at least I try to make them the most gentle, where we do a little bit of movement to warm up through the body, and then depending on what our peak pose is, like the other night we did pigeons, so you really got to warm up the hips and the glutes and the low back for that. But really my goal is to lay around and stretch and feel good for that yin yang style. A little bit of movement, a little bit of restorative built in. But I find those really hard because I don't know what props you guys have. And so I try to do those classes without props. But I think everyone owns a pillow. So I think we can maybe do a couple of things with some pillows to build in some extra bit of goodies. So we'll see. I'll cue it at the beginning of class, whatever it is we might need for it. This evening is just our happy hips class. Maybe you want a strap. I'm not going to use a strap, but if you are looking for that extra bit of feedback from the feet, especially as we're reclining and twisting and maybe extending our legs, if you're flexing through that feet, even in that seated position, if you don't like just holding on to the legs and you wish you could reach your toes but you can't quite, use that strap, lasso the feet, and we'll use it there. So if you need to grab any of those props, that's what we will do. Was that my mommy saying hi? Hi, Mom. Great to have you. Well, you actually typed out a big old comment. Aw, I'm on and sounding great. She can't wait to do yoga. Thanks, Mommy. You're so encouraging. I love it. Okay, so then let's get to the yoga. Enough of my blabbering. I'll try to talk for a little bit at first just so people can see the lives and join in. And maybe they're running a little moment behind, but we'll just keep going with it. So let's start. I want to start laying down this evening. So let's roll on down onto our backs because, in my opinion, that feels the best. I don't know why it's so dark. You can't see it, but I have 5 lights on me. You'd think I'd be super shiny and bright, but maybe the outside is just so white and bright that I still come across a little bit dark, but that's okay. You get what you pay for. So I'll try to make the rest of it really great to make up for that big old deficit. All right, so let's lay down, starting to feel that spine pressing into that mat, probably that hard surface floor, even if you're on a big rug. Odds are it's harder than your bed at night, so you're starting to feel that spine, those vertebrae start to press in. Maybe you've got your knees bent. I always like to start with my knees bent, mostly because that pushes that low back into the ground enough that I can't quite tuck my hands underneath. But if I have my legs long, I've got a little arch through the spine there, and then I can start to wiggle a hand under, which isn't a bad thing. I just don't like it. I'm trying to sense into my body and sense and then lengthen my spine right off the bat. So those nice bent knees help start to release that right off the bat. So no shame in that. If someone has ever told you that your Shavasana has to look a certain way, I encourage you to break that mold. You are the guru of your own body, and it has to look how it has to look for you that evening, that day, that moment that you're actually practicing. So taking some time feeling into that spine, roll those shoulders back and down, drop those shoulders. Take a nice big inhale, fill the lungs nice and full, feel that rib cage expand, and nice and slowly let it out, maybe even audibly, maybe that big old sigh, that Notice how right then and there you can start to relax through the body. Maybe you become a little bit more aware of this present moment, becoming a little more aware of how you're feeling, maybe physically if you want to scan through the body, that good old head to toe, scanning in on the bones, the joints, the muscles, how is everything going tonight? Maybe you go a little deeper, scanning into how you're feeling this evening. What are you bringing onto your mat? What mood are you in? Are you excited for it? Do you have anticipation for your yoga? Are you dreading it? Are you tired and you're just trying to check it off the list? Neither of which are a bad thing. Sometimes you're just getting by, and that's okay. Becoming aware of that feels good. All right, if you like to set an intention for your class, go ahead and do so. If there's maybe a little mantra or a purpose that you're trying to think of for your classes, maybe you want to be extra kind to yourself, so you're really trying to listen to your body and do every pose with kindness and gentleness. Maybe you're trying to work on flexibility, and so you're trying to always find that edge where it's not painful, but you're definitely in that challenge zone. Who knows, whatever comes to mind, whatever your intention is, your intent for the class, as simple as that. Maybe you simply just give yourself a big old smile, a little moment of self-love, and that is that. All right, let's wake up the body here. Little wiggle into fingers and toes. Maybe start to roll wrists. Maybe you roll through the ankles a little bit. Maybe you send those legs nice and long. Just feeling that front body start to open up. Reach those arms up overhead. Take that nice big inhale. See if you can lengthen some more, reaching those hands a little bit farther. Maybe even point through the toes, feeling that big long line all throughout the body. And take that exhale, just drop the arms. Sigh it out. Maybe you feel that little arch through the spine. I'm very sensitive this evening through noticing my spine. I can really feel it, and as soon as I laid down, I felt a bunch of cracks and pops. So it's really neat just to feel how as I relaxed my arm, my back kind of arched, and I have a little bit of height happening through there. Very cool. All right, let's inhale. Take one more nice big stretch. Feel all of that length. Maybe reach your hands a little bit more. Feel that stretch all the way through the underarms, through the sidelines of the body, not just through the back of the shoulders. See if you can really reach into the sides and then point through the toes. Beautiful, big, giant stretch. Feel all of that and exhale, soften, let it go. And start to bring those knees in towards the chest. Wrapping the arms around them. And taking that nice rock from side to side, massaging out that low back. Letting it feel really nice and good. Connecting in. See if you can sense into those shoulders. So though we're rocking back and forth, we often just focus in on that low back. Can you feel it across the shoulders too? Just bringing in that extra level of awareness. Great. Okay, next pose. Let's link on towards one leg. I'm going to start with my left leg, and I'm going to start setting my right foot long. Maybe you just simply plant that foot in towards the mat and hug that left knee in a little bit more. Maybe you start to kick that heel out. There can still be a big bend to that knee. if you're not quite ready to open up through that top hip flexor on the right side, or maybe you're already a little bit more open, maybe you've been doing some yard work on this beautiful day we had today, and you can extend that leg all the way out, extending through the heel, toes pointing up, bring that attention back towards that left side, squeezing that left knee in a little bit more towards the body. Try to stay relaxed through the shoulders. Take that nice big inhale, find the length. And exhale, side out, let it go. Feel all of that softness you possibly can. Beautiful. If you feel the need to rock into that left leg a little bit, maybe you need to find that sweet spot, maybe where you started isn't quite giving you that stretch that you're looking for, feel free to bring a little movement into it. Maybe you want a little more internal, bring that knee more over the body. Maybe you want to hug it more in towards that underarm or on the outside of the body. Just, I don't know, find your own sweet spot where it feels good. Odds are you'll know when you find it. You'll start to feel that little release. Maybe there's a little bit of tension there. You feel that little bit of squeezing through the hip. And then as we hold it, the goal, or at least my goal, is to release that tension. So not just shifting it. Sometimes it'll shift into the low back or into another part of the leg. Usually will stay pretty close. But if you can really let it go, take that big exhale and side out. Say, tension, I see you, but you're not welcome here. I say goodbye. Keep your distance. It's COVID time. No tension allowed. Excellent. Yeah, we're still holding on to that left leg. We're taking some time in this posture, giving those big muscles some time to deepen, to release through there. Maybe you're feeling that through the glute, even if you're feeling it through the hamstring or the side of the hip flexor. Those are some pretty major muscle groups, and so they need a little bit more time to let go and find that release. I've enjoyed the little bit of pulsing that I've been doing. So if you want to just add that extra squeeze and release, maybe that works good for you, or maybe you just enjoy the stillness. Outstanding. One more nice big inhale. One more big full exhale. Great. Let's hold that left leg. Now, just with that right hand, send those left fingertips all the way out, reaching, getting ready to come into our twist. So right now we're laying on our back. Let's start to roll over onto our right hip, but keep that left shoulder planted in towards the ground. And so start to journey on over. You can drop that foot down at any point. The more you roll onto the hip, the more twist you'll get through the spine. If that shoulder starts to float up, just start to bring that hand a little bit closer towards the body, trying to keep the entirety of the arm planted down, however that works best for you. If you're floating it up and it's in the air, you odds are torquing into that shoulder a little bit, being kind of mean to that top tendon that runs right through the top there. So having it be able to press into the ground and relax definitely helps that shoulder muscle out. The goal here is ultimately a twist through the spine. So as long as you're feeling the spine twisting, that's all that matters. So even if foot is planted, knee is up towards the ceiling, that still works. Or maybe you're starting to bring that knee down a little bit more, twisting more, a little bit deeper. Holding for one more full round of breath. See if you can take that nice big inhale, filling the lungs, breathing into the abdomen, and exhale, soften, let it go. Great. If you're looking towards the left, let's bring that gaze back towards neutral, and nice and slowly starting to untwist things here. Excellent. Hug that left knee back in towards the chest. Wrap both arms around it. Give it a nice big squeeze in. Start to really feel that maybe that extra mobility that you're starting to get as we open up through this here. And so we twisted the one way. Let's get a little external rotation through that hip. So start to drop that left leg off towards the left side. So finding that openness, you can keep trying to pull that knee upwards if you want, or you can start to soften, letting that knee fall more closer to in line with the hip but farther away from the body. If that makes sense at all. Almost like you have a 90-degree from the torso. So however you need to extend that knee, start to feel that nice external rotation. Maybe you bring that hand on top of the knee just to add a little bit of weight in, feeling that through the inner thighs. Nice full inhale. Exhale, let it go. See if you can soften the pose at all. Are you clenching anywhere? Are you clenching through the teeth, the jaw? Are you furrowing that eyebrow? Are you squeezing the glutes? Start to become like jelly, just melting down and in. All right, at the end of that next exhale, let's start to bring that left leg back up. Maybe you give it one more squeeze in. And then start to bring right knee in towards the chest. Maybe you give both knees a nice big squeeze. Notice the difference between one hip and the other. It might be easier to squeeze that left knee in than it is your right knee. Noticing that tension right off the bat. Bring both hands onto that right leg and start to send that left leg. Maybe start planting that foot in. Maybe you notice because of that openness, you can start to extend that leg a little bit longer. Finding what feels comfortable. Maybe you're finding that edge, extending long through the heel. Feel all of that length through the leg, all the way through the crown of the head, and start to squeeze that right knee in nice and tight towards the body, feeling that nice release. Maybe you're just feeling that tension. Maybe there's no release yet. That's okay. That's why we hold it for a little bit. Might take a little bit to get into some of those bigger muscle groups, bigger areas. Maybe you've got the tight glutes. Who knows? It's just nice to hold it. You can add that little pulse in too, if you want to mix it up a little bit. We held this for quite a while on the other side. And so we got to keep that little bit of balance through our practice, trying to hold this for that good length as well. And so if you're getting bored of where you're holding that knee, feel free to move it around a little. Maybe you hug it in over top or opening it out. Finding those spots that start to feel good. Maybe you do tiny little circles. And then when you find that sweet spot, go ahead and embrace it. Feel that nice big stretch. Nice big squeeze. Trying not to squeeze too much tension through the shoulders. So if those shoulders are hunching up towards the ears, roll them back and down. You can still squeeze that arm, those arms around the leg without hunching the shoulders up by the ears. So see if you can give that a little shot. And then one thing I've also noticed in this pose is I'll hug my knee into my chest and my foot will kind of come almost across the body as I'm hugging the knee out. So I've got that huge natural external rotation and it's begging to be embraced here. I've kind of exaggerated it a little bit here, but it's almost, it's pretty huge. And so as I'm laying here, I'm trying to align my ankle with my knee and I'm getting more of a squeeze through the outer line of my hip. But maybe for you, you've got a little more internal rotation and the foot is heading off of the body or whatnot. So just see if you can find that nice alignment of knee and ankle all hanging out together. Even if you're pulling the knee out towards the side a little bit, you can still have them be in line opposed to that diagonal. Excellent. One more nice big inhale. Really fill those lungs. Exhale, nice and slow. Let it out. Outstanding. Let's hold on to that left or that right leg with the left hand. Reach those right fingers out towards the side. And then start to roll onto that left hip. Trying to keep that right shoulder blade planted in. Maybe you're feeling that nice T-band stretch. Maybe you're feeling the vertebrae twist around for that beautiful twist. Whatever is feeling good for you. Maybe you have the foot planted, knee open. Maybe the knee falls inward. Maybe the gaze goes towards the right. Being mindful of that right arm, trying to keep it connected. If it's floating up at all, just bring the hand a little closer in. We haven't really warmed up at all through the shoulders, so it's normal to not have that full perfect T extension here. Don't worry, Mom, we'll get to shoulders. I heard you say that earlier. We will build it in to my hips class. Somehow, we'll find a way. But for now, we're hanging out in this nice twist. Maybe twist a little deeper. Oh, I'm noticing that low back is nice and open from that other side, so I can get my whole leg down. Feels great. Huge twist. Return the neck towards neutral if you're looking towards the right. Then start to roll on back towards the back. And hugging that right knee in towards the body. Maybe you're wrapping both hands around it. Maybe you release that left hand now, bringing the leg in towards that right arm only, opening up the leg towards the right. Feeling that nice stretch through the inner thighs. Knee can be hugging in lots, or if you want to try to get that knee more towards the ground, you can release it, lowering the knee a little bit farther down. Feeling that nice spin all throughout the body. Beautiful. Oh, feeling so good already. Noticing such a huge difference. All right, let's start to bring that right leg up. Give it a nice big hug and squeeze inward. Excellent. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then start to bring that left knee back in towards the chest, holding on to both knees, feeling that difference right here as we did at the very beginning of class. Already noticing a little bit of openness, or perhaps you're not, maybe you're still really stiff and tight. That's okay as well. We'll keep working on it. Let's take a quick little happy baby. So reaching on through the knees for the feet, however you want to grab a hold of them. If you can't quite reach your feet, you can grab the back of the knees. Goal ultimately is knees in towards the body, feet up towards the ceiling. Slight tuck of the chin. Tuck of the chin is really important because it helps you lengthen through the spine, which, although this is a hip opener, it's also a great way to reset the spine because you've got that spine pressing in towards the mat. The tuck of the chin, and as you pull into the hands or into the feet, you can almost be pulling more of those back body in towards the mat, really pressing those shoulders down, really trying to press that low back down. You've got that nice tuck of the tailbone. All sorts of good things happening here. Beautiful. All right, so while we're hanging on to our feet, let's take a little moment and play around here. And so I'm going to start by, I'm wearing my right foot underneath my left, and I'm kind of crossing my legs. I'm letting go of my feet. So I'm just trying to cross my legs here. I'm trying to stack knee over knee. I'm reaching on for the ankles. And so this is a reclined version of our cow face legs, which we will do in a seated position up above, but it's just trying to align knee with knee, feet kind of go out towards the side. Maybe you've got external rotation going on. If the knees don't come in line, that's a-okay, but it's kind of fun to be holding on here. Odds are you're tipping over towards one side. That's also very normal for this pose. This is tons through the IT band into the glute. Kind of gets that back line of the legs. If you want more, pull the feet in closer towards the body. Trying to keep that jaw nice and relaxed. Excellent. If you want more, start to squeeze the legs together. Trying to hold them in place so you've got that little bit of resistance. Maybe you're squeezing the legs so hard that you can release the hands. From there, you can play around with bringing those arms up overhead, reaching nice and tall. Maybe you come into those nice boss arms, interlacing the fingers, making that nice pillow. And keep squeezing leg in towards leg. Feel all of that resistance. Maybe reach back on towards the feet. Maybe you soften or let that tension go. Feel that release that might have just happened. Excellent. Feels so good. Take that nice little rock from side to side. So if your left leg is on top, as you're feeling more of that stretch as you roll over towards the right, you can even add a little twist in here if you want, planting that left foot in towards the ground. That feels good. Or if you just fell over, that might have been what I did. We'll call it a twist. All right, let's start to come in towards the other side. So release the feet and simply uncross the legs and cross them the other way. Trying to bring the knees together, reaching for the feet, for the ankles, hugging the feet and the legs in towards the body, feeling that nice, huge. So this is different from our pigeon or our reclined pigeon. You're feeling this more so on that outer line of the hip, whereas in our pigeon posture, we can target more into that piriformis, more into the middle of the glute area, a little bit more. Yes. So I'm hugging my feet in towards my hips, and maybe I'm opening up through the knees a little bit, maybe even dropping them down. I'm just playing around here, talking about how I'm playing through my postures. Still hugging the feet in. I'm going to create some of that resistance now, squeezing leg in towards leg, feeling all of that strength starting to happen. Feeling that engagement of the core, pull that belly button in. So if you're bracing and pushing the belly out, see if you can take a stop for a moment, pull the belly button inwards. Imagine you're tightening up or pulling up a tight pair of jeans and you gotta suck it in to get it in. And then squeeze back, go back into that engagement. Maybe you can even keep the legs as they are and release the hands. Maybe reach up overhead, find all of that length. Interlace the fingers the opposite way. Have that awkward handshake with yourself. Make that nice pillow for the head, opening up through the elbows. Even if the elbows don't come all the way down, this is still a great opener for the shoulders, for those underarms. I'm still active through my legs here, still pressing in one towards the next, feeling all of that engagement. Oh, so strong. Keep it going. Couple more breaths here. Keep squeezing in. I'm going to release my hands, grab onto my feet, and relax fully. Beautiful. Maybe take that little rock from side to side. Maybe you go for that little non-twisty twist where you fall over, planting the foot in. Beautiful. All right, let's release the feet. Uncross the legs. Take a little moment, just give yourself a little squeeze inwards, just to reset those little leg joints, those hip joints, and plant the feet in towards the mat. Knees still going up. Maybe take a little moment and adjust your leggings, as mine have shifted and rolled down. Getting ready to come into our bridge posture. So making sure those shoulders are really rolled back and down. Feel all that openness through the collarbone, through that top part of the chest, and then press into the feet. Let the power of the feet be what lifts the hips up. So stomp the feet in towards the ground and start to feel the activation all the way through the legs. And it's from there, it's from that stomping down that muscle or motion, and that you can start to lift those hips up. And then you can activate into those glutes, squeezing those glutes to come up a little bit higher, feeling a little bit more length through that front line of the body, through those quads, maybe through that core. You can interlace your hands underneath and reach the hands down. If you want to open it more through that collarbone, keep pressing hard into the feet. Keep stomping them down. Maybe your hips come up a little bit more, starting to feel that nice activation through the legs, starting to wake up those nice big muscles. Hello, quads, glutes, hamstrings. Thanks for joining us this evening. Keep pressing into those feet nice and hard as you can. Squeeze those glutes. Maybe lift those hips even just a millimeter more. And let's roll it down nice and slow, coming down one vertebrae at a time. Imagine you could even count them, going so nice and slow, feeling a little bit of bone, a little bit of jelly disc, a little bone, a little jelly disc, lowering all the way down, low back touches in. Beautiful. Oh, that was so good. All right, let's roll on up towards a nice seated position here. So if you want to take a couple of rock and rolls to open up through that spine, let it feel really good. I'm just doing them nice and gentle here. Then all the way up, sitting nice and tall. I'm gonna start just in a quick little cross-legged position. So whatever works best for you. Feel those sit bones though, so give yourself a little wiggle. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, roll those shoulders back and down. Taking a moment. Nice big inhale. And exhale, let it go. All right, let's warm up through those shoulders, starting nice and easy. We'll take 5 big inhales, sweeping those arms up. Maybe reaching all the way out here, building that resistance in. Reaching up. Hands come to touch. Exhale, pull the hands down. Maybe you're pressing into those hands, into those palms, coming all the way down. Tons of activation here. Using that full exhale, let it all out. Release the hands. Nice big inhale. Sweeping it up. Nice and tall as possible. Touch the hands, pull the hands down. Big exhale breath. Moving through them. Maybe this time you look up. Maybe you get that little back bend happening. Keep pressing into the sits bones, into the legs. Exhale, pull the hands through. I've lost count here. I think that was 3 or 4. I don't know. We'll do 2 more in case it was only 3. It might have only been. And 1 more, big reach it out. So big, reach it up. Nice and tall, pull the hands in, hands towards the heart. Pressing in, nice and active here. Outstanding, relax those hands. Just bring the hands onto the knees or let them dangle just off of the knees. Roll those shoulders back and down. Sit as tall as possible. Imagining lengthening through that spine. Big inhale breath. Exhale, let it out. Drop those shoulders down. Beautiful. Take another nice big inhale. And exhale, let it out. Excellent. Sweep those arms up. Just reaching the arms up nice and strong. Then let's get ready. Imagine you're squeezing onto a block here, so arms are nice and active, starting to warm up through that underarm, through these little tricep areas here. Reach up nice and tall. Keep that activation. Excellent. Let's twist over towards one side. So twisting it out so my arms are still active, and I'm imagining rolling one shoulder back, one shoulder forward to give me some more leverage through this twist here. And then I'm gonna exhale, drop my hands down, just planting them in, pressing into my hands to lengthen first, and then pressing in to twist a little deeper. Using that exhale breath to create some space and to let it go. Take a big inhale breath. Try to fill the abdomen, fill the lungs. Yeah, there's the restriction of the twist, but on the exhale, notice the space that's there and see if you can rotate into it. Maybe the gaze just goes over the shoulder. Maybe you can really feel those internal organs, that digestive tract getting a big squeeze. And exhale, release, and come on back towards center. Inhale, let's sweep those arms up. Reaching up nice and tall. Keep reaching. Keep imagining you're squeezing that block. So we're activating into the outer lines of the arms, of the body. And inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, let's twist over towards the opposite side now. So feeling that nice twist, you'll feel that bit of a stop where you feel like you're at your max, but you can kind of trick the body here by focusing on those shoulders, rolling one shoulder back, the other one forward. Notice all that depth you just got. Keep reaching up. Exhale, drop those arms down. Inhale, get nice and tall. Find that length first. And then exhale, Notice how there's that space. Look, you could twist even deeper. Maybe the gaze goes over that back shoulder, feeling that huge twist all the way through the body, through the middle. Nice and strong. Keep holding. One more big inhale. And exhale. See if you can get another little millimeter more. And let's slowly start to release. Come on back. Outstanding. All right, let's switch the feet. Opposite foot in front or on top. However you like to sit, let's do the opposite of. Still feeling into those sits bones. Let's take 3 big inhales. Reach it up. Hands to heart. Reach it up. Big breath in. Hands to heart. One more. Inhale, sweep it up. Pull those hands in. Nice and strong. Press in. Roll those shoulders back and down. Nice big breath. Feeling the connection. Let it go. Feel the softness. Feel that slight engagement through the core. Excellent. And from here, pressing into those hands, let's start to, through that center line, bring those hands back up, reaching up nice and strong. Excellent. Imagine squeezing that block, feel that nice engagement, and let's tip over towards one side, keep pressing in. And so that bottom arm wants to drop, and we're feeling that resistance by keeping that arm up. One more big breath with that, both arms up, reach, and exhale, you can drop that hand down. Maybe you deepen into that twist a little bit. Maybe you rest that elbow on the leg. Maybe you reach for opposite hip or opposite knee. I'm really liking this one, especially when I add those pulses in. I can feel that stretch through the sideline of my body, through my back, and it feels fun. Pulling one hand in one direction and reaching the other hand in the opposite. And then start to come on back up. Reach it up. Imagine squeezing that block. Pull those arms together. Find that length. Keep reaching upwards and tip over towards the opposite side. Keep reaching. Keep that chin nice and tucked. Find that length. Press into the legs. Is that enough things to do yet? Keep holding. Drop that bottom hand down now. Reach maybe a little more. Maybe you deepen. Maybe that elbow hangs out on the leg. Maybe you reach for opposite knee, hip, opposite side of the body. Just getting that little resistance. Pulling one way, pulling the other way. Feeling that huge stretch. Remembering to smile. Excellent. Come on back up. Warming up lots through that spine, lots through those shoulders, hands to heart. Outstanding. All right, let's come into all fours just for a moment here. I know where my destination is. I just wasn't sure of the journey on how we should get there this evening. So all fours to start. Pressing into those hands. Pressing into those knees. I have my toes tucked here, and that is intentional this time. So pressing in nice and strong. Feel that length through the spine, but I want to keep working with the hips. And so, we're just gonna go for it. Okay, so let's press into those hands, sitting back onto the heels. And so I want to play around with camel pose a little bit, but I want to do it once here, and then I want to work on our quads and then come back to it. So let's just set the baseline right here. I know lots of times we start in our camel pose up on our knees, and then we practice dipping back. But because we're not super warmed up through our quads, I want to actually start sitting down and reaching for the heels, or even if you've got a couple of blocks off towards the side, that might work really good. So let's roll those shoulders back and down. Lift through the heart, and we're simply just pressing those hips, lifting forward. So thrusting them out. So even if you're still relaxed through it, pressing in, or you can really start to press and lengthen, start to feel those quads. lengthen through the spine. Keep that chin nice and tucked. So I think this is actually a safer version of that camel because there's less load on that low back, a little bit easier on the core as well. And then simply sit back down onto the heels. Let's inhale, sweep those arms up, reach up nice and strong. Reach, reach, reach. Then exhale, bow it forward, plant those hands. Keep that tailbone tucked under. We're sitting down on the heels, coming into that close-legged child pose, that fetal position, that embryo, whatever you want to call it. It's got a couple of different names. Keep those arms nice and active. Keep reaching forward. Nice big breath, remembering to breathe. Maybe create that little pull sensation through the arms. Excellent. Start to press in and come on back up to that all fours position. And then starting to bring your left foot forward. So we're coming into our low lunge position here. And so however you want to get there, maybe you simply just squeeze the left foot up and getting it to come forward. Adjusting the distance between your knee and your ankle. So I'm going to walk mine out. So I'm starting to feel that stretch through my right quad. Left foot is forward, knee is over the foot, or at least in line with the foot. I'm rolling left hip back or right hip forward. Then I'm sinking and pressing the hips forward so my hips are not stacked over my right knee. That's where the stretch comes from. And so if you're just hanging out here, you're probably not feeling anything. So it's that pressing the hips forward where you'll get that more stretch through that right quad. Starting to feel a little bit of release through that tension. Maybe you feel lots on that left hip. Maybe there's a big squeeze. Let's bring some motion into this. And so pressing into that front foot, reach those arms up, sweep the body up, reach up nice and tall. Keep rolling left hip back. Keep feeling that nice adjustment. And maybe keep pressing those hips forward. Excellent. Reach up nice and tall. Maybe the gaze goes up. Maybe you play around with your balance a little bit. Maybe you close your eyes. Or maybe you start to reach those hands back, feeling that nice back bend. Keep pushing those hips forward. Nice big stretch here. Exhale. Bring the head back up if it was tipping back. Reach up. And then start to drop the hands forward. Reach forward. Feel that leg. Sweep the hands back. Reach those hands back. So I'm extending long through the crown of the head, reaching my hands back. If you want, you could interlace to get more of a stretch through the shoulders. Feeling that openness through the front of the body, through that collarbone, through the front shoulders. And keep pressing hips forward. Nice big stretch through the quad. Excellent. So release the hands out. Nice big T. We'll take a couple little pulses here. So in our neutral airplane position, arms out towards the side. Have palms facing backwards and try to bring the hands to touch. Come back to that T. Palms facing forward. Bring the hands forward, maybe even over the head. Drop that chin down. Back to our T. Palms flip. Reach backwards. Touch. Come back. Reach forward, palms forward. Excellent. One more of each. So thumbs down, palms back. Touch those palms, reach long. Come back to that T. Thumbs up, palms forward, reach forward. Then release. Drop those hands back down. Let's get a little hamstring stretch from this pose here. So just starting to extend that left leg nice and long and coming into that runner stretch. So left leg is straight-ish. If you naturally hyperextend through the knee, keep a gentle bend to it. You can still get a hamstring stretch there. Maybe the hands go on top of the leg. Maybe you reach for the toes. Maybe you want to get a little twist in. Planting the left hand down. Right hand reaches up. Untwist it. I'm going to counter twist the other way as well. And release. Toes are nice and flexed on that left side to get a little extra in. Beautiful stretch through that hamstring. All right, plant that left foot back down, start to walk the body forward. Nice and strong. Send the hips forward. Let's tuck those back toes under and use all the strength you have to press into the legs. Lift that back leg. And if you're pressing into those hands, see if you can just press with the feet. Hands start to lift up, body starts to lift up. And coming into that nice high lunge position. Reach up nice and tall. Keep rolling left hip back, right hip forward. Maybe you sink a little deeper. Maybe you press extra in towards the feet. Maybe you give that glute a little squeeze. Keep reaching those arms up. And if that's too hard, you can come to those boss arms. Feeling that nice openness, still working through the shoulders, but not quite surrendering completely into that prayer pose. Nice and strong. Yet we're still holding our lunge here. Still opening up through that quad. Excellent. So release those hands. Reach on up. Exhale, reach forward. And drop those hands. And drop that right knee back down. Excellent. Bring both hands to the inside of that left foot. Nice and strong. Coming into your lizard pose. So send those hips forward. Beautiful. So if you want more of a quad stretch, some more prep for our camel at the end here, you're working on bending that knee. So even if you can't reach for the foot, even if you're just working on bending it up, you can feel more of that stretch. This is a great opportunity for that strap as well if you'd rather lasso the foot. I like sometimes just working on bending the knee because it keeps my shoulders and my hips square forward. Whereas as we would twist in, pressing into right hand, reaching left arm around, and then nothing is square forward. It still feels pretty good on the quad, but my left knee falls open and I lose a lot of the alignment that I really like and appreciate. So here's some more muscle control of squeezing that foot in a little bit more, not reaching for it. Excellent. Let's lower right toes back down. And let's start to press into those hands and coming to a little bit more neutral. And maybe you heel toe that left foot out towards the side and bring it back into that nice tabletop position. And taking a couple little cat-cow breaths, so dropping the belly down, looking up. Take that big exhale, round through the spine. And big inhale, dropping it down. Exhale, release, round. Find that nice neutral. Beautiful. Let's get ready to come in towards the other side. So bring that right foot forward. Maybe make a little space, widening your hands. Maybe start to squeeze that right knee up. Squeezing it forward. I find this side extra hard. Trying to get it to come all the way up. And try to do it in one smooth, fluid motion, but that right side has been a little bit slower. Some days we got it. All right, taking that low lunge. Let's adjust the space between that right foot and left knee. Maybe you increase it. Maybe you just pad up that left knee. Taking that nice stretch, roll right hip back, left hip forward. Start to feel that quad open up. Keep rolling the shoulders away from the ears. Find that length through the head. Big inhale, big exhale. Beautiful. All right, let's press into those feet using that nice engagement. Start to float the hands up and start to float the body up. Reach and sweep those hands up. Then send those hips forward. Beautiful low lunge here. Reaching it up nice and tall. Maybe head tips back. Maybe hands start to tip back. I've still got the steeple happening here. Imagining my nice back bend. Keep sinking into the hips. Keep rolling right hip back. Keep pressing the hips forward. Bring the head back up, reach up nice and strong. Reach forward, bow it down. Reach those hands back. Interlace maybe at the fingers. Get that big giant stretch. Keep that quad stretch happening. Send those hips forward. Then release the hands. Bring it out to the T. Nice flying airplane here. Excellent. Let's bring thumbs down, palms back. Sweep those hands back. Bring the hands to touch if you can. Working on that. Release it. Come back to that T. Thumbs up, palms forward. Reach those hands forward. Great. Start to open up back to that T. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Thumbs down. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Maybe link for a quick second. Get that extra bend or that stretch. Reach it forward. Reach on up. Excellent. One more. Palms down or thumbs down. Reach back. Come back to the T. Thumbs up. Reach forward. Tuck the chin. Reach, reach, reach. Come back to neutral. And drop those hands down. Start to press into that front leg. And coming into our hamstring stretch on this side. That nice runner stretch. Right toes pop up. Nice flex through the foot. Big. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, relax. Maybe you're actively trying to pull those hips back, keeping that right foot in front. Maybe you reach for the toes. Maybe you want that little twist here. And the other side. Well, that feels real good. All right, coming back towards neutral. Let's start to bend through that right knee. A nice low lunge. Let's tuck those left toes under. And starting to press in. See if you can lift that back leg up. See if you can start to float the hands up, float the body up. Reach all the way up. Beautiful high lunge. Reach, reach, reach. Roll right hip back. Pressing firm into those legs. Maybe you sink it a little deeper. Keep reaching up. Maybe gaze goes up. Maybe you close your eyes. Excellent. Exhale, head comes back towards neutral. And start to reach forward. Exhale, bow it down. Plant those hands. Plant that left knee back down. Bring both hands to the inside of the right foot. Maybe wiggle it out towards the side. Find all that length through the crown of the head. Working with your little lizard pose. Maybe you need your hands on a block or a pot. Whatever you've got to work with. I'm still pushing my hips forward here. Still feeling that quad stretch. If that's enough, you just hang out here. If you want a little more, you can start to bend through that left knee. Maybe that feels rotten on your kneecap. That's a possibility. And squeezing it in. Just trying to use that muscle control to squeeze the foot in towards the glute. If you really want, you can plant left hand down, reach right around, grab onto the foot, get that deeper passive stretch. But releasing it and squeezing it will keep it a nice active stretch. Excellent. All right, let's lower that foot back down. I'm getting a little Charlie horse in my hamstrings, so I'm just going to work that out. All right, maybe you heel toe that right foot out towards the side and bring it back to that nice all fours position. Take a couple nice little cat cows, dropping the belly down, look on up. Nice. Release through the back. Tuck that chin, round through that spine. Press into those hands. One more each way. Nice little back bend here. And arching. Come to that neutral position. Great. All right, tuck those toes under, get those heels a little bit of extra height. Start to sit back on them. Walk those hands in. So we'll start first the way we did before, and then we'll move into that more traditional way. And so maybe you can just sit on your hands, having the heels tucking in nice and close to those sits bones. Even if you can plant a block, or if you've got a little pillow or bolster, just giving that nice feedback. Start to press into those heels. Roll those shoulders back and down. Lift the heart. Keep that chin glued down. And then as you're feeling more comfortable, start to press into those hips, just like we did in that bridge posture. Pressing in, lifting those hips up. Feeling that nice stretch through the quads. Keep that chin in. If it feels good for you to drop that head back, like if you feel like you have to, do so mindfully. Otherwise, I'd say keep pressing into those hands. Try to find a little bit more height. And exhale. Drop those hips back down. Release. Come back to that nice neutral. Excellent. All right, let's come up onto the knees. So you can roll the mat, pad them up as you need to. I'm going to keep my toes tucked under just for the extra height in the heels. But if you're feeling really confident, you can bring shoelace side down. Tucking those hands into those imaginary jean pockets. Pressing into that low back. So that's going to protect that low back here. Slight tuck of the chin. Try to really squeeze those elbows back behind you. Next, and feel all that opening through the shoulders. Maybe you simply hang out here. Start to engage the core. Pull that belly button in towards the spine. Nice and strong. Start to tip back. So ideally, the legs and the hips are not moving. So where you're pressing into on your low back doesn't move, and you just simply bend the body backwards. Feeling all of that length through the quads. Maybe then you reach for the heels. Keep pressing those hips forward. Feeling all of that length. This is really fun to do up against the wall. Ideally, your quads would not come off the wall, hips would not come off the wall. But we're human and it feels good to reach for the feet. All right, with control, let's come on back up. Keep that chin nice and tucked. And let's release. Excellent. All right, pull those hands down. Open up through those shoulders. Plant those hands in those imaginary jean pockets and go for the next level here. So pressing those hips forward. Roll shoulders down, squeeze those elbows, and start to press hips forward, shoulders back. Coming into your camel. Maybe you take a couple little pulses here. I'm going to take 2 more, making it for 3. And press hips forward, tuck that chin in, start to bring those shoulders back over those hips, feeling that low back. Excellent. Let's counter this. Release those hands, maybe give those shoulders a little shake, and coming into your closed knee, child's pose, really rounding through the spine here. If you want, you can go for the rabbit or the snail. Rabbit is pressing the head in towards the ground. So there's not really a lot of weight on my head here. I have my hands to stabilize and take some of the burden off, rolling those shoulders back and down so you're not crumpling through the neck. And then pressing up, hips over knees. But that feels kind of terrible on my neck. Like, I don't really love that pose. That is a good counter pose to back bends. That was in like every yoga class in my yoga teacher training manual book. Ideally, then you're bringing your hands up to make your little bunny ears. But I'd rather just relax through the hips. You can still get the arm and shoulder stretch. All right. 1 more big breath in. Exhale, let it go. Then start to press into those hands. Then bring those knees nice and wide. Sit on back for our more traditional child's pose. Feel that release through the hips. Maybe you release through the arms. Maybe you get that nice little pull action happening. Arms still nice and active. Maybe you create that little push sensation. Just working with the shoulders.
Taking some time in this child's pose, letting things sink and settle.
Beautiful. All right. I'm going to start to press up here. And I'm going to leave you in your child's pose to finish off for your Shavasana. Our child's pose is really good at releasing tension in that low back and through the hips. And your head is below the heart. It's a perfect recovery pose. If it's too much having the weight on your knees, feel free to flip over onto your back, even tucking a block underneath your hips and hugging the knees in. We'll still keep that heart above, so it's still that nice recovery position, opposed to everything being nice and flat. I thought I'd mix it up from finishing off with a twist and a happy baby and freestyle. Although as you're hanging out in your child's pose, if you feel like there's another pose you want to do, if you want to play around some more, go right ahead. I feel like I could do like another 20 minutes or half an hour of yoga, but I won't subject you to that crazy long class. We're already at our hour. So I thank you so much for joining me this evening. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for taking some time to work on yourself, whether that just be some self-love in yoga, whether that be that stretch or some fitness, whatever your motivation is. I'm super proud of you. I think this is really important, especially in this time. And I really believe in the secret powers of yoga, not to sound weird, but I think it's really neat as you start to study movement and breath work, how it's cool that yoga does a lot of healing for the body and for the mind. So thank you so much. You're absolutely wonderful. Genuinely love these evenings. And we will see you tomorrow night if you're available. If not, any night this week at 8 p.m. I will be here on my mat. So we will see you next time. All right. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And may you always be blessed. Excellent. Namaste. Toodles. Sayonara. All of those good things.